for Upper Michigan, this is your TV6 Early News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Asplund. A new casino project finally moving forward in Negaunee Township. What the KBIC is saying about this development. Case dismissed in the legal fight between the state and the parents of a young boy and his cancer treatments. Gray Wolves management of the animal is switching to the state after the federal government's actions today. Good Samaritans, the legal implications of someone trying to do a good deed. Your Facebook story tonight. Surprise, a soldier returns home. It's quite the gift for his cousin.
From Weather Center 6, I'm Carl Bonak. A cold front clears the area. Temperature trends and snow chances into the holiday weekend coming up.
I'm Mike Ludlam. In sports, we'll have the winner of the play of the week, and there's good news for Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
Plus your TV6 Medical Minute on gallstones. Your news is next on TV6.
Pioneer
Steve Asplund, Carl Bonak Weather, and Mike Ludlam Sports. This is your TV6 Early News.
The long-anticipated casino at the old Marquette County Airport clears a major hurdle. The U.S. Interior Department approves the application for the Keweenaw Bay Indian community to move the Ojibwa II Casino in Chocolate Township to Negaunee Township. So what does this mean? When will it happen? And what happens to the old casino? TV6's Houghton Hancock Bureau reporter Gabrielle Mays has reaction from those directly involved, the Negaunee Township Supervisor and the KBIC President. Gabrielle?
Well, Steve,
With the recent approval from the U.S. Interior Department, the Keweenaw Bay Indian community is beginning the next phase of a possible move of the Ojibwa II Casino in Marquette County to the Negaunee Township. The new location is the former residence of the Marquette County Airport, and this 80-acre piece of land may be the future home of a brand new casino. Although the application has been approved, it must now go to the state of Michigan for government approval.
Now that might take up to a year. The governor has 1 year from the time the federal approval is received to make a decision for the state of Michigan.
Now, KBIC said this all happened rather quickly, but they are planning on speaking with the governor sometime next year. And if approved, a decision will then be made as to when construction can begin. KBIC says they don't know what will happen with the current casino, but it will stay up and running until the move is approved.
Once we start gaming operations in the new casino, we'll start closing down the operations over at the current casino in Chocolate.
KBIC says this is an opportunity to get into the gaming market in the Marquette area, and this move will provide jobs for people locally.
We should be within this next year, at least, be able to come up with a final decision and start the construction, I would hope, toward the end of the year of 2012.
A decision has not been made in regards to the sewage system upgrades, and they are still working on other infrastructure improvements.
We'd like to have first of all, a casino, then move into possibly a hotel and motel conference, and possibly some other things too.
The Negaunee Township Supervisor also said that they are looking into the entrance and exits from the casino area along the US 41 corridor because those areas are critical when it comes to traffic flow, and that will be discussed during the monthly MDOT meetings, and they will come up with a recommendation in regards to those situations. As for now, the governor still has a year to make a decision, and that's where it all stands tonight. We apologize for the space-age audio that was coming from Gabrielle in Houghton. In other news tonight, the case involving the state of Michigan trying to force a little boy's parents to give their son medical treatment has been dismissed. Marquette County Circuit Court Judge Thomas Sulka dismissed the state of Michigan's petition to force the parents of 10-year-old Jacob Styler of Scandia to resume chemotherapy for the boy. Jacob has been diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, but recent PET scans came back clear. His parents, Aaron and Kenneth Styler, insist he doesn't need further chemotherapy for now, but the boy's primary pediatric oncologist testified Jacob still has cancer cells. However, Judge Sulka concluded the parents have not been negligent in making decisions about Jacob's treatment. A jury trial in the case had been scheduled, for January 10th of next year. A 77-year-old man is dead tonight after being hit by a vehicle on December 20th on Suffolk Street in Ironwood. The Ironwood Public Safety Department identified the man as Francis Ronnie Kilpinen. He passed away at 12:40 on Wednesday. The situation was that he was taken to Grandview Hospital and then airlifted to St. Joseph's Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The driver of the vehicle involved in the crash remained at the scene and is cooperating with authorities. Well, Michigan will soon manage its own gray wolf population. The Obama administration is dropping the gray wolf in the western Great Lakes region from the federal endangered species list. The U.S. Interior Secretary says there are more than 4,000 wolves in Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. That includes 687 wolves in Upper Michigan. Those numbers far exceed recovery goals, and officials say the animal no longer needs federal protection. Responsibility for managing and protecting those wolves will be turned over to state wildlife agencies. Okay, well, we go to our next story, which involves military homecomings. Now, it's a situation that was even sweeter today as a military soldier returned home for the holidays in Delta County. While most kids wanted toys for Christmas, there was one young woman in Escanaba that wanted her 19-year-old cousin who was serving in the Army to come home for her Christmas present. TV6's Escanaba Bureau reporter Yona Gavino reports Christmas came early for this year for little Chloe Allen.
Chloe Allen had her 7th birthday this past weekend, but today she got a birthday and Christmas gift in one. Private First Class Brendan Bryant is her cousin. He's home on leave from the Army, and he surprised her in between classes at Webster Elementary.
And this would have been my first Christmas away from everybody, and it's great to be back and to see everybody.
Did you like it? Sandra Allen is Chloe's mother and also Bryant's cousin. She said his deployment has been just as difficult for the family back home.
There was times when he said, I'll call you this day, and then I wouldn't hear from him, and then I would worry and not know that he was okay.
Allen said her children and their cousin are very close.
Just because I know she prays for him every night to come home safe, and I thought what better of a surprise to actually have him surprise her.
So what does little Chloe like best about having him home?
Play outside and go to the park. He plays with me.
Bryant said his year-long deployment to the Middle East was the first time he'd been away from home and away from Michigan, but it was worth it. But there is one more present. Private First Class Bryant will be celebrating his 20th birthday on January 5th. Brendan's leave ends January 15th, and then he'll head to Fort Bliss, Texas. He's still got 2.5 years in the Army, but he is hoping to go to school after that and be closer to his family. Yona Gavino, TV6 News, Escanaba.
Well, it's difficult for many of us to stand by and watch when we see someone in need of help, but attorneys and police say there are rules to follow when it comes to being a Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan laws were put in place to protect people like off-duty medical professionals from being sued after having something go wrong while helping someone in need. Now, law enforcement officials said to take each situation on a case-by-case basis. They say just calling 911 is often the best help someone can provide.
It doesn't necessarily preclude all liability. For example, I think gross negligence or reckless acts performed are not immune from liability.
While there's no penalty for not providing help, officials say the best thing is to leave the rescuing to those who are trained, like police and medical professionals. Well, here are your Facebook story choices for tomorrow. First, fluoride in the water. What are the benefits? And second, canine infectious respiratory disease. What is it, and how can you protect your dog? And third, a 401k versus a pension plan. How do they compare? Find out by going to the TV6 Facebook page and vote for your favorite story, and check it out tomorrow here on your TV6 Early News. Time for a check on the weather. A mild day today. We had some sunshine and the clouds kind of moved in, Carl.
Right, we were expecting that as a front settles into the area. Currently at Mairside Oats and Marquette, still 33 degrees, a northwesterly breeze light, and the barometer is beginning to rise right now. And there's been a little bit of snow that's come out of those clouds. You can see on radar a few returns, only a few flurries or some very light snow, especially over the western upper peninsula. We'll pass along your forecast into the holiday in a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Carl. News about gallstones is the topic for tonight's TV6 Medical Minute with Dr. Michael Prevost. Find out the issues that come with having gallstone disease. And then later, inventing a better way to mount a spare tire on your vehicle or your truck. An Iron Mountain Man's invention following sports on your TV6 Early News.
A minute today about gallstone disease. Most gallstones are asymptomatic. They cause no pain. If the bile duct or the pancreatic duct or the cystic duct gets blocked, it will cause pain, sometimes infection, jaundice or a yellow discoloration of the skin and the whites of the eyes, and occasionally pancreatitis. The gallbladder stores bile, which is responsible for fat digestion. Well, it's a very concentrated solution, and crystals can form, and those crystals can become stones. Having elevated cholesterol and being overweight makes them more common. Symptoms of gallstones include pain, usually in the right upper area of the abdomen. Sometimes it radiates to the shoulder or the back or the middle of the abdomen. It's usually worse after eating, especially fatty, greasy, or oily foods. Cholecystitis is a step beyond gallstones, where there is fever and pain and sometimes jaundice. The diagnosis of gallstones is usually made by an ultrasound or a nuclear scan of the gallbladder. Treatment: if there is no symptoms, there's no need to treat gallstones, but if there are symptoms, it usually requires surgical removal. This has been Dr. Michael Prevost for TV6's Medical Minute.
Your TV6 Medical Minute appears each Wednesday right here on your TV6 Early News. The Delta Animal Shelter has been staying busy this holiday season, helping the cats and dogs find new homes, but they're hoping for one special gift. The shelter has a shortage of volunteers and would like more people to give the gift of time. The assistant manager says about 15 volunteers regularly show up, but she wishes there were at least 50 volunteers who could help out as little as one day a month. And many people sign up to volunteer but really don't show up.
It can be coming in the afternoon and socializing cats. You know, there are people that can't have cats in their home but really long for one. Just wish to really extend my gratitude for the wonderful things the people of this community have done for us this year.
There are only 2 paid staff members, so the shelter runs mainly on volunteers. Some of their duties include cleaning cages and making sure the animals have enough food and water. Time to check out your weather forecast next with TV6 meteorologist Carl Bonak. Will today's mild conditions transform into a winter-like scene as we head for the holiday weekend? We'll find out next with your forecast. On Wall Street today, will stocks ending the day mixed after weak earnings from Oracle pulled down the technology companies. The Dow only managing a 4-point gain, the NASDAQ falling 25. Gold prices today down $3.70, ending at $1,612 an ounce. And crude oil prices rising $1.43, closing at $98.67 a barrel. There's a look at today's most active issues and stocks of local interest.
We're through 3 weeks of December now, and it remains mild. 36, the warm spot at the top of Michigan, Copper Harbor, mid-30s at Munising, also Manistee. It's 32 at Houghton, 34 at Menominee, and the cold spots, 28 Iron River and Ironwood. Downstate, 45 at Detroit, it's 33 at the Sioux, 30 into the 30s on the west end of Lake Superior. Here's our satellite view, and you can see the frontal boundary. That front is gradually working through the central upper peninsula now, and the cold air obviously lags in back of the front. Take a look at temperatures even north of Lake Superior, still in the 20s. Pickle Lake not reporting this hour, but down to 10 above, and that colder air is aimed at us. And tomorrow that front moves farther away, and we expect a wind out of the northwest to north, and that means some lake effect as the colder air builds in. High pressure off to our west will be moving to the northeast of us along with the coldest air, and then a new low pressure area, a weak one, will drop in from the northwest. There's a chance that many areas after a sunny start will get at least some light snow from this system. That system moves off, and then we're in between systems on Saturday. It looks like a mixture of sun and clouds. Temperature still a bit above average. This next system could provide at least a few flurries on Christmas Day. Back with your forecast details next.
This portion of your TV6 weather is brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer.
Temperatures tomorrow morning around 20 into the 20s, and then look at this in the afternoon. It looks like temperatures go nowhere, and they shouldn't. In fact, in a few spots, they could even fall a bit. Your forecast overnight, generally cloudy, lows from 20 through the 20s, winds becoming northwest behind the front, and everyone could have a little light snow and flurries behind the frontal system. Then for tomorrow, some light lake effect in the north. Some of the highest elevations under north-northwest flow could get an inch or so. Highs from the 20s to near 30, so temperatures not going much of anywhere. Your TV 6-day forecast, highs in the 20s on Friday with that next rather weak system dropping in, and then on Christmas Day, temperatures still running somewhat above average with a chance of a little light snow and flurries.
Kind of stuck in a rut, aren't we?
We certainly are. No strong storms, no real cold, and right now no real warm air either.
Santa's going to need wheels in Marquette this Christmas.
And we'll see if we get a little dusting, but the grass will probably still be showing.
I'm sure it will. All right, thanks, Carl. Your sports is next, and tonight a Finlandia basketball player is named Player of the Week. TV6's Mike Ludlam on who that is, and your winner for the Play of the Week. It's all next in sports when your TV6 Early News returns.
33 years ago, our goal was simple. Build...
Good evening, everyone. Finlandia University men's basketball guard Anthony Granberry has been named the Association of Division III Independents Men's Basketball Player of the Week for December 12th through the 18th. Granberry wears number 5. He led the Lions to a 2-0 record on the week, averaging 21.5 points, 4.5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2.5 steals per game. The highlight of his week, obviously, was a 37-point performance on 14 of 19 shooting from the floor in a 104-87 win over Presentation College. Granberry shot nearly 61% from the floor for the week, and he didn't slow down. He scored 28 points and grabbed 6 rebounds last night in a 105-97 loss to Olivet College. Finlandia has one more game before Christmas break. The Lions visit Alma College tonight. Finlandia has a record of 5-8. This dunk right here by Hancock's Alex Elmquist has won, for the moment, the TV6 Play of the Week by a very narrow margin. Elmquist received 49% of the more than 830 votes. This goal by Iron River IceHawk hockey player Kyle Mackey picked up 48% of the vote. Almost hate to stop voting on this when it's past 825. An NMU hockey goal by Eric Higbee was third. Again, the Elmquist video was sent in to us by a viewer. We appreciate that very much. And if you have video that would be worth a Play of the Week nomination, you could send it to us at uppermichigansource.com. The Detroit Pistons have waived center Jake Voskuhl and guards Brian Hamilton and Walker Russell Jr. The Pistons announced the moves today. They now have 13 players on the roster. Detroit signed those 3 players to its training camp roster following the lockout. None of them played in last night's exhibition game at Cleveland. The Pistons opened the regular season Monday night at Indiana. After leading the information down for me is Carl.
We got late information with regards to the Chicago Bears.
Josh McCown, the new quarterback this week for the Chicago Bears. Poor Caleb Haney, 0-4, and will be sitting on the bench. It's been a while since he's played.
Wow.
Carl quickly wrote down the quarterback rating of 70.9.
Ouch.
That'll really suck in the Bears viewers, won't it?
That's not a good rating.
No.
Is this how many TDs he's had? How many interceptions?
In his career.
Oh, 35 TDs and 41 interceptions.
The Bears are struggling. What more can we say?
Oh, maybe divine intervention will help this weekend.
Who you? Yeah, the Packers. Yeah, right.
No, the Bears.
No, the Packers.
No, the Bears.
You're playing.
No, the Packers play on Sunday this weekend,
Yes.
right?
And the Lions game is on CBS, not
That's on
Fox
CBS.
TV.
Okay,
Yes.
sounds good.
I'll keep that straight by Christmas.
All right, we'll get it down. Thanks a lot, Mike. Coming up, we'll tell you about an invention by an Iron Mountain man after the commercial. Finally tonight, a Kingsford inventor has recently finished work on a new way to store a spare tire on trucks. 89-year-old Ralph Pelletier says the idea came to him when he had trouble removing the spare tire from his truck due to all the salt and dirt that was collecting under it during the winter months. Now the invention is a bracket for the truck's tailgate, and Pelletier says he likes seeing the finished product.
It's so rewarding, but you never know if it's going to sell. You know, you see it, it's difficult to believe that you put that together yourself.
He does have a patent for this new invention, and he's now looking for a company to buy the rights. So good luck to Ralph. Now, a last check on the weather.
A little snow, maybe anywhere in the UP tonight, and then some light lake effect for tomorrow. Right now, it looks like kind of a mild run-up to the holiday weekend.
All right. Well, at least it's good for driving.
Right.
Thanks a lot, Carl. That does it for us. NBC is next with Brian Williams. For all of us, have a good night and join us online anytime.
Doing business in Upper Michigan is more